Our first guest, a star of the stage and screen who's played the bad guy in so many shows. Playbill dubbed him the villain of Broadway.
His name is Patrick Page, and
laughing.
he is a Tony nominee, a Grammy Award winner, and he has a long list of theater credits. He originated the roles of Hades in Hadestown, the Green Goblin in Spider-Man Turn Off the Magic, and the Grinch in How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Look at this guy. Right now he has a one-man show running called All the Devils Are Here, How Shakespeare Invented the Villain on Broadway.
And deeper than did ever plummet sound, I'll drown my book.
Oh my gosh. Patrick Page joins us live this morning. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, well, look at this, huh?
That voice. When did your voice get that deep? Did you come out of the womb with that bass?
Right.
Can you imagine? Who would have been like The Exorcist?
Really scare people.
Yeah.
This is such a treat to have you on the show with us. So talk to us a little bit about the concept of the show, because I think it is brilliant.
Oh, thank you. Well, you know, I love Shakespeare. I've loved Shakespeare since I was a child. My father was an actor at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. I grew up around the language. And I've noticed that other people sometimes have some trepidation or some fear or anxiety or even some loathing. And so I want to share this with people. And so I created this show. And we explore Shakespeare's villains chronologically from the beginning of Shakespeare's career to the end. He wrote for about 21 years.
Yeah.
And he grew and grew and grew in his understanding of why people do terrible things.
Right.
And of course, right now, this is a time when we want to be looking into that. Why do we do these awful things to each other?
Right.
And Shakespeare knew more about us than anyone who's ever lived.
So when you take a look at the totality of all the villains that Shakespeare wrote about, do you have one that you're drawn to the most?
No, I think that's kind of like picking my favorite child in a way. I mean, they're all so individual and so unique. I will say that one of the things that audiences have been really fascinated with in this particular show is that Shakespeare really discovered the psychopath. So all of those qualities that are now used by the FBI, over 20 qualities to identify psychopathy, Shakespeare placed them all in his character Iago in Othello, quite clinically. And I do a psychopath test during the show so that the audience themselves can test themselves for psychopathy, can test their friends, and also apply it to
Put her to the test?
Well, I think I'm a sociopath.
Okay.
I do bad things and I know they're bad, and then sometimes I feel empathy, which is a psychopath does bad and knows he or she.
Actually, the two terms are really kind of interchangeable.
Please.
People try to make a distinction.
I'm a psychopath.
Sociopath has no empathy either, I'm afraid. No, no. Really, the condition is called antisocial personality disorder. That's the clinical term. If you are, then it's very, you know, you can get a long way in life with that.
Look how far she's gotten.
Until you get caught.
I understand you actually enjoy playing a villain as opposed to, I don't know.
A good guy.
A good
Well,
guy.
I love playing good guys too.
Okay.
But I mean, villains are especially rich because, well, first of all, a villain usually knows that life is a game and he or she is playing to win.
Yeah.
And that's fun, as long as you're winning.
Right.
Yeah.
And some of those great roles nowadays where actors really break through, like Walter White or Tony Soprano, they're all these complicated anti-hero / villain roles. They're just a lot of fun to explore.
You are fascinating. So for you, you know, let's talk about the terms of sociopath and psychopath and playing a villain. I always am interested in how somebody kind of gets into the mindset and the character and the research. Obviously, you're well-versed in Shakespeare, but how do you get into the mindset to play the villain?
Well, you go very deeply for what they want, and very frequently how they feel they've been injured. You know, people do bad things when they feel they're justified in doing them. And that really is where Shakespeare comes to at the end of his career, is how do we break that cycle? In his final play, he's dealing with how do we break that cycle? Okay, I've been injured. I want to injure back. What do I do with that?
Hurt people, right?
That's exactly right.
You mentioned the word anti-hero, and I think God loves Shakespeare. I'm a former English teacher. I had to teach Shakespeare, and it was the worst 3 years of my life because I could never nail iambic pentameter.
Oh.
But the anti-hero, I think that as a viewer or as a theater goer, what do you think of this notion that you can sort of, falling in love is a stretch, but really see the villain and say, oh, he or she is not that bad?
Oh, I always do fall in love with them. I think if you can't love, and I mean really love the character, I don't think you can play him. You have to be able to love. You know, Jeffrey Dahmer's father, to the very end, loved his son, loved him deeply.
Yeah.
And I think that if you're creating a character, if you're writing a character, or if you're embodying a character as an actor, you have to come from that point of view that Jeffrey Dahmer's father is coming from.
Wow. Do you feel, you know, and even to your point about being an English teacher, that Shakespeare is getting away from the youth? That it's almost like irrelevant now, because I feel like in some of these classes, maybe your students experience it too.
Yeah.
They're like, ugh, Shakespeare.
The canon.
Well,
right?
I mean, I think that people are afraid, right? Because they get a bad dose of Shakespeare.
Yeah.
If you get a bad dose of anything, you're not going to want it. You know, if I have a bad oyster, I'm going to be off oysters for the rest of, for at least a few years.
Right.
And that's what happens with Shakespeare. But if you get a good dose of it, which I think you will with my show, then you'll want to have more oysters.
Right. I like this analogy here. Yeah.
So when we go to your show, what are we witnessing? What do we witness to?
Well, it's really me taking you on a journey to a place that maybe you love. Maybe you're a person who loves Shakespeare. If you do, then hopefully I'm a guide that really knows my way around it. I can show you even more than you knew before. But if you don't, it's like going to a city that might scare you a little bit, maybe someplace where you don't speak the language quite, but I'm your guide. And I do speak the language, and I know every little restaurant, every little nook and cranny, every museum, and I'll take you there and show you, and I promise you, you'll love it.
How do you delineate between an Iago and a Lady Macbeth?
Well, that's very interesting. How do you differentiate, like physically or vocally?
Physically, correct, yes.
Well, every character in Shakespeare has their own language, their own rhythm. He never wrote two characters that were alike. He wrote hundreds and hundreds of characters, and everyone is very individual in terms of their rhythm, in terms of the language they use, the imagery they use. And then there's, of course, the actor's toolkit, which is vocal, physical, and all of that.
I don't think you have the vocal. I don't think you have the vocal. I'm just kidding. When you look at, I could talk to him.
I know.
You want to say the whole show? I think when you look at the landscape of Broadway overall and theater overall, what do you think it is today that may be missing from theater that you're bringing with this show? Because I feel like this is so powerful to experience, and there's so many things you can take away from it.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, it's amazing the reaction that this piece has on people. You know, we have the second highest rating on the ShowScore website that aggregates all the reviews of all the shows in New York. Next to Hamilton, this little one-man show off Broadway has the second highest rating out of hundreds and hundreds of reviews. And I think it's that contact with the audience and then the quality of the writing.
And the quality of the acting.
Well, after every single show, I have a conversation with the audience. So they participate with me. They are my acting partner. And then we discuss it afterwards together. And I think people crave that contact. You know, we were all locked away in our homes for 2 years, and you come out, and you can get great, big, beautiful, you know, splashy pageantry and everything in the movies, but that human contact, the human voice.
Especially on the stage, it's so intimate.
On a stage that's so intimate. Here we are in the beautiful DR2 Theater in Union Square. You get to go down to this wonderful part of town, this gorgeous jewel box theater, 100 people. It's just like having your own private show.
Should we go?
Let's go.
Can we use your name at the door?
Yes, please.
Okay,
Yes,
fantastic.
we'll say we know you.
Patrick Page, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending time with us this morning.
Thank you so much.
What a pleasure.
Oh my gosh. All the Devils Are Here is showing at the DR2 Theater in Union Square. For more information, visit allthedevilsplay.com.